Have you ever wanted love so badly, felt the ache of it in your chest, yet the exact moment someone actually tries to get close to you, you instinctively push them away? You might find yourself sabotaging a good relationship for reasons you can't quite explain. Or maybe you feel a sudden wave of suffocation when things start going too well. If that sounds familiar, I want you to know right now, you are not broken. You are not cold, and you are not heartless. You are human, and more importantly, you are likely protecting yourself in the only way you learned how. Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm really glad you're here. If you are new, this is a space where we try to understand our own minds with kindness rather than judgment. Today, we are exploring the psychology behind pulling away, specifically, that confusing tug-of-war between wanting connection and feeling terrified when it actually arrives. We're going to talk about avoidant tendencies, not as a diagnosis, but as a very real, very human experience. So, take a deep breath, settle in, and let's talk about why we build walls around hearts that actually just want to be held. To understand why we push people away, we have to look at what intimacy feels like to our nervous systems. For many people, love feels like a warm blanket. But for those of us with avoidant patterns, love can feel more like a loss of self. Psychologists suggest that this reaction often comes from a deep-seated association between closeness and danger. Not physical danger, usually, but emotional danger. It's the fear that if you let someone all the way in, you will lose your freedom, your identity, or your sense of control. You might have learned, perhaps very early on, that the only person you could truly rely on was yourself. When you've spent a lifetime building a fortress of independence, a knock at the door doesn't feel like a visitor. It feels like an invasion. But here's the part most people don't realize. This pushing away isn't actually about not loving the other person. It's often about self-preservation. Imagine you are holding a glass of water that is already full to the brim. That is your emotional capacity. When someone tries to pour more love, more attention, or more demands into that glass, it doesn't feel like a gift. It feels like a spill. It feels messy and overwhelming. So, you pull away to protect your boundaries, to keep your glass from overflowing. You retreat into your shell, not because you don't care, but because you need to regulate your internal world. It's a way of saying, I need to feel safe inside myself before I can be safe with you. This often stems from a subtle belief that needs are a weakness. Maybe you grew up in an environment where expressing a need, whether it was for a hug, for reassurance, or just for attention, was met with silence, dismissal, or even annoyance. Over time, a child in that situation learns a very powerful lesson. Having needs hurts. Therefore, I will not have needs. As an adult, this translates into a fierce independence. You pride yourself on handling everything alone. So when a partner tries to help you or asks to be close to you, it triggers an alarm bell. Your brain whispers, careful. Depending on them is dangerous. You push them away because the vulnerability of needing someone feels far more terrifying than the loneliness of being without them. And this leads us to something that explains so much about avoidant behavior, the confusion between calmness and boredom. Many people who push love away are used to high-stress environments or having to be hypervigilant. When a relationship is safe, consistent, and calm, it can feel foreign. You might mistake that lack of anxiety for a lack of chemistry. You might think, I'm just not that into them, when in reality, your nervous system is just waiting for the other shoe to drop. You might find yourself picking fights or focusing on their tiny flaws, the way they chew, the way they dress, just to create a reason to distance yourself. This is your mind trying to restore the safety of distance. If you find a flaw, you have a justification for leaving. And if you leave, you can't be hurt. This next insight might shift the way you see yourself deeply. Often, the person pushing away is dealing with a profound sense of unworthiness. It sounds contradictory, right? If you're pushing someone away, it looks like you think you're better than them. But deep down, there is often a whisper that says, if they really knew me, the messy, anxious, imperfect me, they would leave. So, you leave first. You reject them before they can reject you. It's a preemptive strike. You maintain the upper hand because being the one who leaves feels infinitely safer than being the one who is left. It's a tragic form of protection where you guarantee your own loneliness just to avoid the potential of heartbreak. Let's talk about the suffocation feeling, because that is very real. For someone with avoidant tendencies, emotional intimacy can feel like physical pressure. When a partner asks, "What are you thinking?" or "Where is this relationship going?" Your body might physically tense up. You might feel the urge to leave the room, check your phone, or shut down completely. This is sometimes called deactivating. Your attachment system literally shuts off to protect you from the perceived threat of emotional overload. It's not that you are being cruel, it's that your emotional fuse has blown. You go cold because you have hit your limit. And in that moment, the solitude of your own mind feels like the only safe place left. Research points to another interesting pattern: the phantom X, or the idealization of the unattainable. Have you ever noticed that it's easier to love someone when they are not right in front of you? Maybe you pine for an ex-partner who wasn't right for you, or you develop a crush on someone unavailable. This is a classic safety mechanism. Loving a phantom is safe because a phantom can't make demands on your time. A memory can't ask you to be vulnerable. It allows you to feel the sensations of love without the terrifying risks of real intimacy. It keeps you safe from the messy reality of a living, breathing human being who needs you back. But here is the hopeful part, and I want you to really hear this. You are not destined to be alone forever. These patterns are not your DNA. They are just things you learned, and things that are learned can be unlearned slowly and gently. You can practice what psychologists sometimes call titration. This means letting love in tiny drops. You don't have to drink the whole ocean. It's okay to say to a partner, "I really care about you, but I'm feeling a little overwhelmed and need an hour to recharge." That is not pushing away. That is communicating a boundary. It's okay to take space, as long as you explain why you are taking it. It teaches your brain that you can step away and come back, and the relationship will still be there. It teaches you that you can be independent and connected at the same time. Also, try to challenge the narrative that needs are weak. Look around you. Humans are a social species. We are wired for connection. Needing a hug, needing reassurance, or needing to be heard doesn't make you a child. It makes you a person. Giving yourself permission to have a need, Evan, a small one, is an act of rebellion against that old voice that told you to be an island. It's scary, yes, but it's also where the magic happens. It is in those small moments of staying when you want to run that trust is built. Not just trust in the other person, but trust in yourself. Trust that you can handle being loved. If you have been pushing people away, please be gentle with yourself. You have been working so hard to keep yourself safe. That version of you who built those walls, thank them. They got you through some lonely times. They protected you when you felt you had no one else. But maybe, just maybe, you don't need walls that high anymore. Maybe it's time to install a door. You can keep it locked when you need to, but you can also open it when someone safe comes knocking. If you push people away, it doesn't mean you don't want love. It means love feels risky, but you are allowed to grow at your own pace. You are allowed to take it slow. You are worthy of a love that is patient enough to wait while you find your footing. Stay gentle, stay curious about your own heart, and stay open to the kind of love you deserve. If this video resonated with you, or if you felt seen today, please don't forget to like. Leave a comment sharing your story. I read them and they mean the world to me. And subscribe. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you very soon.